Welcome to Women Tennis USA. I am Mary Carillo. Tonight, the conversation across the tennis world is still buzzing, not with whispers but with wide-eyed disbelief, because the Coco Gauff match we all witnessed left fans speechless in a way that only rare sporting moments can. This was not just another win on the tour, not just another scoreline to file away in the statistics. This was one of those nights when tennis feels larger than the court, when the crowd senses history leaning forward, and when a young athlete reminds everyone why the sport continues to captivate generation after generation. Coco Gauff stepped onto the court carrying expectations that few athletes her age have ever had to shoulder. By now, her name is no longer followed by qualifiers like promising or up-and-coming. She is established, scrutinized, studied, and targeted by opponents who know that beating her means something. Yet what unfolded in this match was not simply the handling of pressure, but the transformation of it into something powerful, precise, and almost startling in its clarity. From the very first games, there was a tension in the air that could be felt even through a television screen. The crowd was loud, yes, but it was the kind of noise that came with uncertainty. Fans sensed they were about to see something special, though they could not yet name it. Gauff's movement immediately stood out, her footwork sharp and economical, her posture calm, almost serene. There was no rushing, no wasted energy. She looked like a player who knew exactly where she needed to be, not just physically, but mentally. Her opponent, accomplished and prepared, tried early to test her. The rallies stretched, the ball struck deep and heavy, probing for weaknesses. But Gauff did not blink. What left fans speechless was not just her ability to retrieve balls that seemed out of reach, but the way she turned defense into offense in a single fluid motion. A wide forehand chase became a down-the-line winner. A desperate lob turned into a point-ending setup. Each exchange built the sense that something unusual was happening. There is a rhythm to great tennis, and Gauff found it early. Her serve, often discussed as a weapon still developing, landed with authority. She mixed pace and placement intelligently, keeping her opponent guessing and off balance. On second serves, there was no hint of hesitation. She trusted her mechanics, went after her spots, and sent a message that she was there to dictate, not to survive. Fans watching could feel the shift. This was not the Coco Gauff of raw potential alone, this was a player demonstrating command. Every changeover seemed to reinforce that impression. She sat quietly, focused, eyes forward, while the crowd murmured in appreciation and disbelief. Social media lit up almost instantly, with viewers commenting not just on what she was doing, but on how she was doing it, with a composure beyond her years. As the match progressed, the rallies grew more complex. Tactical adjustments were made on both sides, but it was Gauff who consistently stayed one step ahead. She used her backhand, already considered one of the best on the tour, with devastating effectiveness. Cross-court angles opened the court, and then, without warning, she would flatten one out down the line, leaving her opponent stranded. It was precision paired with confidence, and the crowd responded with gasps more often than cheers. What truly silenced the arena at times was her anticipation. She read patterns as if she had seen them before, moving early, arriving balanced, and striking cleanly. This is a skill that often separates good players from great ones, and on this night, Gauff displayed it in abundance. She seemed to know where the ball was going before it left the strings, and that knowledge gave her an almost unfair advantage. There was a moment midway through the first set that captured the essence of the match. A rally extended well beyond what either player might have expected. Shot after shot landed deep, heavy, demanding. Finally, Gauff slid into a low backhand, redirected the ball with a sharp angle, and followed it to the net. The passing attempt came fast, but she was ready, sticking a volley that barely cleared the tape and died on the other side. For a heartbeat, there was silence, then an eruption of applause that seemed to shake the stands. This was the point where fans realized they were not just watching a match, but a statement. Gauff was not reacting to the moment, she was creating it. Her choices were bold but measured, aggressive but thoughtful. That balance is rare, and it is why people could not look away. The second set brought its own drama, as her opponent tried to reset, to disrupt the flow. There were changes in pace, attempts to draw Gauff forward, to test her touch and patience. Again, she answered every question. Her net play, often underrated, proved solid and confident. She closed points efficiently, refusing to let momentum slip. Perhaps the most impressive aspect was her emotional control. Tennis, as every fan knows, is as much a mental contest as a physical one. Points can swing on a single lapse in focus. But Gauff remained steady. When she missed a shot, she moved on. When she won a spectacular point, she acknowledged it briefly and reset. There were no prolonged celebrations, no visible frustration. This even-keeled presence fed into the sense of inevitability that began to surround her performance. Fans, both in the stadium and watching from around the world, started to sense that they were witnessing a coming-of-age performance, even though Gauff has already achieved so much. This match felt like a marker, a line drawn between what she has been and what she is becoming. It was not about surviving a tough draw or grinding out a win, it was about imposing her game on the biggest stage. Statistics, of course, tell part of the story. Winners piled up. Unforced errors stayed remarkably low. Break points were taken with ruthless efficiency. But numbers alone cannot capture the atmosphere, the way the crowd leaned in during crucial points, the way conversations stopped mid-sentence as rallies unfolded. That collective holding of breath is the truest measure of a match that leaves fans speechless. As the final games approached, the tension shifted from uncertainty to anticipation. Everyone could feel the finish coming, yet no one wanted it to end. Gauff continued to press, refusing to play conservatively. On match point, she did not wait for an error. She constructed the point patiently, opened the court, and finished with authority. When the final ball landed, there was a pause, almost disbelief, before the applause rose again, louder and longer than before. The handshake at the net was respectful, a quiet acknowledgement of a battle fought with intensity and skill. Gauff's expression softened then, a hint of a smile breaking through the focus that had carried her through the match. She waved to the crowd, and the ovation that followed felt like more than applause for a win. It felt like recognition. Why did this match leave fans speechless? Because it showed what is possible when talent, preparation, and belief align. It showed a young American athlete not just living up to expectations, but reshaping them. It reminded everyone watching why they fell in love with tennis in the first place, because of moments when the sport transcends routine and becomes something unforgettable. In the broader context of women's tennis in the United States, this performance resonated deeply. The lineage is rich, the standards high. Every generation looks for the next figure who can carry that legacy forward, not just in results, but in presence and influence. On this night, Coco Gauff made a compelling case that she is ready for that responsibility. There will be more matches, tougher opponents, inevitable challenges ahead. Tennis careers are long and winding, filled with peaks and valleys. But performances like this become reference points. They are the matches people remember, the ones they bring up years later when discussing a player's rise. They are the nights when belief becomes visible. As the crowd filtered out and conversations resumed, the tone was unmistakable. Fans were not debating whether Gauff could succeed, they were discussing how far she could go. Analysts replayed key points, marveling at decisions made under pressure. Former players nodded knowingly, recognizing the signs of something special. For Coco Gauff, this match will likely blend into a busy calendar of competition. For fans, it will linger. It will be the match they describe to friends, the one they reference when explaining why she matters, why her presence on court commands attention. It will be remembered because it captured a moment when everything clicked. And that is why this Coco Gauff match left fans speechless. Not because of a single shot or a dramatic scoreline, but because it revealed a player stepping fully into her power, right before our eyes. From all of us here at Women Tennis USA, this is Mary Carillo, reminding you that in tennis, as in life, there are moments that remind us why we watch, why we care, and why we keep coming back for more.